Well, we took the little black daily truck to the track last night, and definitely saw some things that would explain what I was feeling going down the track. And this is just a 2016 Ram 1500 regular cab short bed 4-wheel drive Hemi 8-speed truck. And we're gonna dive into that. I strapped her down to the dyno this morning, and I'm gonna look at some things. The truck is stock minus an MBRP catback kit, and the last few tanks have all been 89 octane, mid-grade, what they recommend for these, what the internet likes to recommend. And I see it all the time on the groups of guys, well, can I shut around 93 octane? And guys are like, oh, you're not tuned for that, it won't do you no good, just wasting money. It's like, no, only people that don't have any idea make comments like that. And we're gonna show you why. Stay tuned. All right, so I did forget to mention that I do have an Advanced Fuel Dynamics ProFlex kit on this truck. It's been on there for a few weeks. I have not poured any E85 into it because I just wasn't, on the dyno, didn't have time to do any testing. So I wanted to do that, which is what I'm gonna do today on the dyno, and just confirm everything, and hopefully it'll change up some of these results. And what I want you guys to pay attention to, this was one of the track runs from last night, is of course that number. Pay attention to that number. Because as I roll through this, and you can see my speed, I'm coming up for the launch. There we go. We're off to the races. Right at the second gear shift, whole bunch of timing gone. And it just pretty much holds out, getting rid of all that timing, all that precious timing throughout the rest of the run until I'm out of it and it finally comes up. So why, and I see this all the time on the dyno, stock trucks, you make a pull, lots of timing being pulled. Well, Hemis like to knock, and mid-grade sucks. It is just not a good fuel, and these things definitely love some good octane, tune or not. And keep in mind, this is stock tune, so I haven't changed anything, and that's why this makes for a good little test today. So in the same condition as the track last night, let's do some pulls on the dyno and see what she puts down. All right, so I went into the TCM side and of course changed some tables so the truck will stay in gear on the dyno without downshifting on me. So if I go up to the compare and I grab me the original read, compare log. So on the engine side, I've shut off MDS, and then I don't know why there's DTCs. It always shows that when you do a compare. So literally MDS is off on the engine. That's the only difference. On the PCM side, of course the TCM side is a bunch of stuff, but this is it. And so just to reiterate and go back to the engine side, spark tables, there's nothing different. If you know HP tuners, it's going to show you everything's stock. I mean, guys love to change these. I mean, that's stock. So, and I am trying to boot this guy up just to show the oops, wrong button. With the truck running, this should pop up. Dual SPP. Like normal, pump gas, 89 octane mid-grade that I'm running, has 10% in it. So let's see what she's got. So I had to make one change. We're not gonna really count this first run. All that happened was I forgot this truck has 321s, so a 5th gear hold, we hit the speed limiter, and that's not going to work. We need to at least hit the rev limiter. I'm noticing this white line right here, all this jagged stuff. That's my wideband, so I'm going to swap the sensor. I've got a few new ones, but you can see I've got some knock going up throughout the run. But I'm gonna swap sensors. I'm gonna calibrate a new one real quick and throw it in because I don't really like the way that looks. Then we'll make another run. All right, reset everything. New wideband, calibrated. Let's see what this does. Wait for the wideband to warm up. Okay. Set the run up real quick. Yeah. Everybody got motion sickness now? I do. There we go. That wideband looks a lot smoother. Okay. A little happy with them downshifts there. I've got tow haul tuned kind of aggressively. It's run number 3, technically. What did we see? Definitely worth noting that when it went from, I don't know what changed in my settings. I could hear the pinging when I first romped on it until the computer pulled some timing out. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. make sure all the RPM stuff is reading correctly. Shut this wideband off. 305 and 331 torque. She's an animal, what can I say? I'm surprised I didn't lose traction on the dyno. Just kidding. Another thing worth noting is it's pretty easy to follow your timing where it's dropping off each point where we get a bunch of knock, especially like right here, 5,500, really dove down. And you can pretty much line that up with your power. I mean, you can see where the power comes down, all the little drops in torque. You can pretty much line that right up with knock on what's going on the screen. Well, it's that time. Here's our 3 baseline runs there. Max torque, average torque. Slowly but surely. See, I just came on the other side of the ethanol sensor there. Get some ethanol in this turd. All right, a little toasty. We're back up to running here with, pretty much drained it to where the fuel light was on and then filled it with some pump E57. And I'm gonna get to check in here where we're at. And basically I'm gonna wait until we get ethanol up at the engine and then get her to spin the rollers. There we go. I can already feel the horsepower revving it. And as you can see, I mean, as our ethanol is climbing, truck running, revving it, you know, it's something that you can just drive away after you fill up with the 85 with the kit on. Sure that she is nice and toasty, so nobody's like, oh, you let it cool down, that's why it made power. weak pump ethanol. Just gonna get this party started. On that one side. All right, so we just made the most power of the day, with the day only getting hotter on that first full run on ethanol. I mean, the average power up quite a bit, max torque up quite a bit, average torque, well, I mean, we're higher than our first pull of the day, and of course still on, you know, the stock tune. And we can see why. On that first little hit, I went ahead and recorded it. That was at 295, just because I already had the dyno set, and if it sits there waiting for you to record a run, then it builds cache and it can lock up the program. So, and you can see right when I got into it here, I mean, it pulled and I heard a little bit of knock, but based on the trims and adaptive still kind of going wild here, it was probably still had some fuel, or gasoline I should say, in the rails, because it's, you know, a returnless system, so it has to flush all that out. It has to burn it off, and that's what I was trying to do by just revving and kind of driving through it. And then that full pull is here at the end, and you can see right when I romp into it, we have no knock. I didn't hear anything, no timings being pulled, typical Ram fashion, is running richer than the gods of Egypt. And then we get a little bit right there, and then once again at the end. So, I mean, heck of a lot less knock, and our power that we just made shows that, which, let's do another one. See if we can keep getting it better. I'll do a couple more pulls, and then I'll probably actually go ahead and write in a little bit of a tune, just some timing, and numb the knock sensors up a tad, because they are overly aggressive, and maybe take some of this overly aggressive fuel out, because that's just ridiculous to run that rich on a stock truck. Big horn. This would be the second full pull on about E57. Nice. See, power's coming up as we get that God's fuel flowing in the system. One of the other things that I'm going to look for, and save this one as number 8. No little knockies. And at least right there, if we take a look at our air charge, I opened up these tables, MBT, wide open throttle, I mean, at least we are running 746, so what is it about? Basically that column. Getting pretty close to running full timing. See why we don't have it. IAT, it's backing us off a degree, but the coolant's giving us a half a degree. 106. Yeah, so I mean, seems like at least with even 57% ethanol, we're able to run full timing. I mean, realistically, I mean, obviously it's hot today. I mean, we're at 89 degrees sitting in the shop, and I mean, it's not like I've let the truck cool down or do anything crazy to try to get us more power. I mean, I'm leaving it sitting here running right now on this video. We'll probably just leave it run and just go ahead and do another rip and see what that does for power. See if it comes up any more. and we'll just go ahead and do that. Hell with it. I'll make sure that people know flex tune or flex kit on stock tune and what it's capable of doing. As I've always said, it helps them run consistently better all the time, even when they get hot. Down and take a look at those on the dyno. So, as you guys saw, really didn't even give the truck a break between those last two runs, which we gave the truck a break between those first runs that were pump gas. This run here is that one I did not do a full pull, kind of in the middle of the ethanol transition. So our very first pull of the day, after I just drove the truck into the shop, on 89 octane mid-grade, you know, BS fuel. I mean, that was our best pull on gas, and it was just going down from there, even with giving the truck some rest. And then 57% ethanol yielded our best pull of the day. And then not even shutting the truck off, leaving it idle, it pretty much backed it right up. And I mean, look at the max torque. That's up, what, 13 foot-pounds over our best pull. Average is now well above 300. So that's pretty cool. Again, I mean, no tune. That's just throwing the kit on and driving the truck around. That's what you're gonna see. I'll give the truck a break comparable to the gas pulls, and then I'm gonna do another. All right, break time's over. I mean, she's still hot. A little bit of a break for the both of us. So one of the things I was waiting for was just really to get, you know, full timing out of it, full stock timing. And of course we could cheat the system, as the truck will eventually, when the computer's like, oh hey, I'm not knocking my ass off, it will start to edge timing up, because they want to run MBT, but usually they won't because they're always knocking. So, I mean, just run that kind of timing all the time, but it's not safe, right? So they have it run on this table. If there's no knock, it starts edging towards this table. But I'm gonna do a little bit of a tune on it, and we'll do another pull. See what forcing it to run some more timing for right now we'll do. And then this truck will get, we have long tube headers for it, a 180 thermostat, high flow cats to go along with the long tubes, and we've got one of our custom cams, which we call the Ramasaur, mainly for the four-wheel drive trucks. Give them some torque. Nothing that you have to extend the RPM out. Nothing like that. Nothing crazy. Just a good torquey truck cam, basically. And I'm gonna take some fuel out of this thing. So there at the end, we're still getting some. That's probably why the PCM's not edging up total timing to MBT, because of that at the end right there. But the thing's so dang rich, it's probably picking up fuel knock. So we'll take some out of it, actually do a little tune on the truck, and then kind of our next thing will be the long tubes, thermostat, camshaft, and then we will retest and take the truck to the track again. And I'll post the results, the track results from last night. All right, so just wrote a little something quick. I was gonna numb the knock sensors, but I'm not even gonna do it because I just don't think we need to. Not today, not right now. And this is my truck, so I mean, I don't really ever plan on running gasoline ever again, because, well, you're gonna pay a premium for premium and it still sucks. Why not just run ethanol, right? So wrote that in as tune 2. Let me go up here to the compare. And as you can see this morning, I mean, I wrote in the tune to hold the gear, and just wrote this one in 106. It's now 109. It's flashed, kind of ready to rock, but I'll just do a compare to the original that I took of the truck. So you can see I just backed off my FA enrichments a little bit because for cat over temps, because I'm getting ready to do high flow cats anyway, and they, as you can see, stock, they make it run just pig rich. So I backed that off slightly, and all of this I'm probably gonna have to go through and adjust more later. It's just gonna be, you know, as I tune it and mess with it. But if we look at the log, look at the log real quick. So backed off some fueling and air charge. My COT max, which you guys just saw, of course MDS, some throttle spark stuff. We'll click on this guy. And basically where they really ramp in the fuel stock, I just kind of backed it all off a little bit. I just want to make sure it's safe, and I'm just going to run it. So, you know, just back it off a little bit, see what it looks like. The wide open throttle spark table, I added very minimal to a few spots just to see if it likes more timing. And also this way, as it rolls from, I don't have spark tabs open, as it rolls in from part throttle spark to wide open throttle spark, I don't think we have to have it drop down quite as much. So take care of that. And then the spark rates, even though we didn't have any, I'll just go here. So just the watt table. See, now it's green, nothing else has changed from stock. And these guys, just went ahead and pulled almost all of the spark. It's comparable to like burst knock when you blast the throttle, the PCM, based on some long term, especially this one, they'll just immediately pull timing whether you need it or not. So, you know, I'll just pull some of that out of there so it's not so extreme. Even though in the logs we really didn't see any. I mean, when I stabbed it, it definitely didn't pull knock like when it was on 89 octane, or should I say pull timing because of knock, not pull knock. So I flashed that in. I would say, you know, just roll with this. Turn the key on, turn the wideband on. Let's get connected to the truck. Sometimes my shift ID hasn't been popping up. Okay, we're good. And let the wideband finish warming up. It's only getting hotter out there. 91. Here we are, a little after 1. I'm starving. I can't leave to go eat because, well, my truck's strapped to the dyno. But for the sake of testing, she sounds way more badass than what she actually is. Still got pretty rich, but not quite as rich as on the stock tune. Let's see what this would be 11. But this is tune 2, so I kind of keep track of logs, and as it gets crazy, tune an awful lot of cars. Alright, so right here, got a little bit of knock. Popping in. Always that knock at the end, but it's definitely becoming less and less. $17. 747. Don't mind me, I'm just talking to myself. 747, so I'm about right there. Yeah. 5400. IAT advanced. Well, I mean, at least all that's remaining pretty consistent for us throughout the day as far as what it's pulling, which, I mean, my air temps ain't nothing crazy. I'm sure on the road they're going to drop down, and I probably won't have that -1 degree. I mean, I could get rid of it on the dyno just to really see, but still be inaccurate, right? Because the temps are the temps. So, and none of those tables I've altered. I'm sure the coolant advanced table, once I go to a 180 thermostat, I probably actually have to back that off, or you know, she'll just run a bunch more timing if it's running cooler. That all looks pretty good. Still super rich, but it's a 4-wheel drive truck, and I do pull a trailer with a car, so I don't want to back it off ever so slightly. So, and with just that, I mean, yeah, we're way up. 321, 357 max torque. I mean, it's a pretty good little jump from where we started, and of course, it's only gotten hotter. Obviously, I'm using the SAE weather correction on the dyno because it's gotten hotter. If we went to none, the weather of today, it's going to be less power, which of course it is. And then if we use the normal internet, hoorah, I make lots of power, standard weather correction, oops, now we're even higher. But I don't like using the standard. It's an old weather correction, so we'll stick to the SAE for our 321. And all of these have been, which that's pretty good because what the dyno's saying the truck will run. Last night I ran a 9.2 at 77 miles an hour. So, you know, it's pretty close. Let's see my weather here. They list it. All of it, same snapshot trigger. It's 15% static load. Oh yeah, there's temp. So yeah, I mean, our coolest part of the day, 85 degrees, all the way down to now 89 degrees. So there you have it. Nothing crazy, but flex kit and pouring in some ethanol and just, you know, really, of course, the last hoorah number with a little bit of a tune, pulling some fuel out of it. Nothing crazy. And just like that, your little Ram could do it too. But I think I'm gonna call it a day. Get this thing off here. I gotta move on to some other work and things. All right, I lied. One more quick thing before I call it a day. Last night at the track, I could definitely feel, you know, the power surging, doing something funky under acceleration. Well, we know what that is. A whole bunch of knock. Now that we've pretty much eliminated that, we did have this on this very last pull, which would be our this guy here, did have a little bit of knock right there. And then it, you know, you might ask, okay, was that false? Well, of course it is, because I mean, we're at 57% ethanol. That should realistically take care of all the knock. I didn't touch the knock sensors. They are still stock. And then if we look at the graph right there at that spot is right here where we see a little bit of a dip in torque and power, but in general, it's all kind of starting to come down. Our ass-in doesn't taper off as bad. And then if I click on our very first run to our very last run, I mean, you can see here in black the very first run, which was just like how the truck was running last night at the track. all that not coming in plays hell on torque and power, and just how much smoother the truck looks on ethanol. Not to mention the power gains. And even if we compare the stock tune to stock tune, only ethanol added, only a flex kit added. Very nice power curve. The truck feels 100 times better accelerating on the dyno with ethanol in it and the stock tune. So you know you're gonna feel that on the street. It's gonna be a lot smoother. So we'll see what happens. I'll take the truck back to the track before the long tubes and the cam, I'm sure, and see how it runs on ethanol and this tune.